I saw a man sell his own daughter for a piece of land. Not trade her in marriage, sell her, like livestock, like property. And I did nothing to stop it. I was 17 years old, working as a clerk in a land office in Dakota Territory, and I watched a transaction that still wakes me up at night 62 years later. My name is Henry Carlson. I'm 79 years old now, and I've spent most of my life trying to forget what I saw in the summer of 1882. But you don't forget something like that. It burrows into your soul and lives there like a parasite, feeding on your guilt, growing stronger with every year you do nothing about it. The girl's name was Anna. She was 12 years old, thin as a rail, with blonde hair so dirty it looked brown. She stood in that office while her father negotiated her price with a land speculator named Silas Croft. 40 acres and $300. That's what she was worth to him. Less than a decent horse, less than good cattle. I could have stopped it. I was the one recording the transaction. I could have refused, could have gone to the marshal, could have done something, anything, but I didn't. I wrote down the numbers, stamped the papers, and watched a child walk out the door with a man old enough to be her grandfather. The Old West wasn't just cowboys and gold rushes. It was also this, desperate people doing unspeakable things to survive, and other people watching in silence because speaking up cost too much. I was one of those silent people, and I've been paying for that silence every day since. This isn't a story about heroes. It's a story about cowards, and I'm the biggest coward of all. Before I tell you what happened in that office, I need to know you're listening. Comment below what city or country you're watching from. Because these stories, the ugly ones that don't make it into history books, need to be remembered. Someone needs to bear witness to what really happened on the frontier, when survival turned ordinary people into monsters and silence turned the rest of us into accomplices. Leave your comment. Acknowledge this happened. That's all I ask. It was a Tuesday in July, so hot the air shimmered like water over the dirt streets of Deadwood. I'd been working at the Territorial Land Office for 6 months, a job my uncle got me after my father died. It was boring work mostly, recording claims, filing deeds, listening to prospectors argue about boundary lines, but it paid. And in 1882 Dakota Territory, any job that paid was a good job. Silas Croft came into the office around 2 in the afternoon. I knew him by reputation. Everyone did. He was a land speculator from back east, maybe 45 years old, with money and the kind of cold eyes that never smiled even when his mouth did. He'd been buying up homestead claims from people who couldn't make it, consolidating land, getting rich while others failed. I need to file a transfer, he said, dropping a leather satchel on my desk. And I need you to witness a contract. What kind of contract? I asked. Private business arrangement, he said. Nothing illegal. I just need an official witness. I should have asked more questions, should have insisted on seeing the contract first. But Croft was important, and I was just a clerk. You didn't question important men in those days. You did what they told you. About 10 minutes later, the door opened again. A man came in with a girl. The man was maybe 35, but he looked older, worn down by hard living. His clothes were patched and dirty, his face weathered like old leather. His hands shook slightly, the way hands shake when someone's trying to quit drinking or hasn't eaten properly in days. The girl was behind him, head down, shoulders hunched. She wore a dress that had been mended so many times it was more patches than original fabric. Her feet were bare, dusty from the street. When she looked up briefly, I saw her eyes, pale blue, frightened, but also resigned, like she already knew what was about to happen and had accepted it. "This is Henry Mueller," Croft said, gesturing to the man. "We have business to conclude." Mueller didn't look at me, didn't look at anyone except the floor. The girl stood perfectly still beside him, like a deer sensing a predator. Croft pulled out a document from his satchel, unfolded it on my desk. "Mr. Miller is transferring guardianship of his daughter, Anna Mueller, to me in exchange for property and monetary compensation. I need you to witness both signatures and notarize the document. The words hit me like cold water, transferring guardianship in exchange for property. I looked at the document more carefully. It was written in legal language, but the meaning was clear. Henry Mueller was giving his daughter to Silas Croft permanently in exchange for 40 acres of land and $300. This is, I started, but Croft's eyes fixed on me. This is a legal contract between two consenting parties, he said coldly. Your job is to witness it, not question it. I looked at Mueller. Is this what you want? He still wouldn't meet my eyes. I got 4 other children, he said quietly. Wife died last winter, lost our homestead to debt. I can't feed 5 kids, can't even feed myself. His voice cracked. This way, Anna eats. This way, maybe the others survive. And what happens to her? I asked, looking at Croft. She becomes part of my household, Croft said smoothly. She'll have food, shelter, clothing, better than she has. This is a kindness, not a crime. But I could see in his eyes it wasn't kindness. Could see the way he looked at her. Not like a guardian, not like a father figure. Like possession, like something he owned. Anna, I said, speaking directly to the girl for the first time. Do you understand what's happening? She looked at me then, really looked at me, and in her eyes I saw something that haunts me still. A plea. Not spoken, not even gestured, just there in her gaze, begging me to do something, to stop this, to save her. And I looked away. She understands, Mueller said. She knows this is best. Best for who? I wanted to ask, but I didn't. Because Silas Croft was powerful, because challenging him could cost me my job, because I was 17 and scared and more worried about my own skin than a 12-year-old girl's fate. So I did what I was told. I positioned the document for signatures. Mueller signed first, his hand shaking so badly the signature was barely legible. Then Croft signed, his signature bold and confident. Finally, I signed as witness and pressed the office seal onto the paper. The transaction was complete. Croft pulled a thick envelope from his satchel, counted out $300 in bills, handed them to Mueller along with a deed to 40 acres of land 20 miles north of Deadwood. Pleasure doing business with you, he said. Mueller took the money with trembling hand. He looked at his daughter one time, just one time, and his face crumpled. I'm sorry, he whispered. Anna, I'm so sorry. She didn't respond, didn't cry, didn't fight, just stood there with her head down, hands folded in front of her. Come along, Croft said to her, not unkindly but firmly, like speaking to a dog. He put his hand on her shoulder and guided her toward the door. Anna walked with him. At the doorway, she turned back one last time, looked right at me. That plea was still in her eyes, but now mixed with something else. Betrayal. She knew I could have stopped this, knew I chose not to. Then she was gone. Mueller stood there for another minute, staring at the money in his hands. Then he walked out, without another word. I was left alone in the office with a stamped document and the crushing weight of what I'd just done. I tried to tell myself it was legal, that I just witnessed a contract, nothing more, that Mueller was desperate and Croft was providing a solution, however ugly, that it wasn't my place to intervene. But I knew the truth. I just helped sell a child, and I did it because I was afraid of losing my job. That night, I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I kept seeing Anna's face, her pale blue eyes, the resignation mixed with hope that I might save her. And I kept seeing myself looking away. The next day I asked my uncle about it, told him what happened. He listened, then said something I'll never forget. Lot of ugly things happen on the frontier, Henry. Your job is to record them, not judge them. You do your job, keep your head down, and you'll be fine. But I wasn't fine, haven't been fine since. I tried to find out what happened to Anna. In the weeks after the transaction, I asked around town about Silas Croft's household. Nobody knew much. He kept to himself, lived in a large house on the edge of town. employed a few servants, but was otherwise reclusive. About a month after the transaction, I saw her. I was walking past Croft's property, and there she was in the yard hanging laundry. She wore a better dress now, clean, her hair washed and braided. From a distance, she looked almost normal, almost cared for. But when she turned and saw me, her face went blank. Not angry, not pleading, just empty, like something inside her had died. She went back to her work without acknowledgement, and I walked away feeling sicker than before. I told myself she was better off. She had food now, shelter, clothing, better than starving with her father and siblings. The legal contract said guardianship, which meant Croft was responsible for her welfare. Maybe it would be fine. Maybe she'd grow up safe and eventually be free. These were the lies I told myself to sleep at night. But rumors started circulating. A few of Croft's servants quit suddenly. One of them, a woman named Margaret, who'd worked as his housekeeper, came into the land office one day to file some paperwork. I recognized her and asked how things were at the Croft household. Her face hardened. "I don't work there anymore." "Why not?" She looked around to make sure we were alone, then leaned in close. "That girl, Anna, what he does to her." She stopped, couldn't continue. I couldn't stay and watch it, couldn't be part of it. I told the marshal, but he said, without proof and without the girl complaining herself, there's nothing he can do. Croft's too powerful anyway. My stomach dropped. "What do you mean, what he does to her?" Margaret just shook her head. "You know what I mean. And if you helped put her there, you should be ashamed." She took her paperwork and left. I wanted to act then, wanted to go to the marshal myself, to Croft's house, to do something. But fear held me back. Fear of Croft's power. Fear of admitting my complicity. Fear of what I'd find if I actually investigated. So I did nothing. Again. Months passed. I saw Anna occasionally, always from a distance. She never spoke, never smiled, just existed. A ghost haunting the edge of town. Then winter came, brutal and cold. In February, there was talk that Croft had left town for business back east, would be gone for months. People wondered what would happen to his household, including Anna. I finally got up the courage to do something. I went to Croft's house, told the remaining servant I needed to check on Anna for an official census record. A lie, but it got me in the door. Anna was in a small room on the second floor. It was cold, despite a small stove. She was sitting on a narrow bed, sewing something, her fingers red and chapped. When she saw me, she didn't react, just kept sewing. "Anna," I said, "do you remember me?" "Yes," she said quietly. "You're the man from the office, the one who watched." The accusation in those simple words cut deeper than any insult could have. "I want to help you now," I said. "I can get you out of here. Find your father or find somewhere safe." "My father's dead," she said flatly. "Drank himself to death 6 months ago. The land Croft gave him wasn't worth farming. The money went to whiskey." I felt like I'd been punched. "Your siblings?" "Scattered. Orphanage, maybe. I don't know." She finally looked up at me. "It doesn't matter. I belong to Mr. Croft now. That's what the paper says. That's what you witnessed. That paper is wrong. It's immoral. You're not property." "Aren't I?" She smiled, but it was the saddest smile I'd ever seen. "A man sold me. Another man bought me. You made it legal. What else would you call it?" "I can fix this," I said desperately. "I can go to the authorities and say what? That a legal contract you witnessed is suddenly not legal? That you changed your mind 2 years later?" She shook her head. "You had your chance to help me. You chose not to. Now it's too late." "It's not too late. You're 14 now. In a few years you'll be old enough to..." "To what?" Her voice rose slightly. "To leave? Where would I go? I have no family, no money, no skills except what Croft has taught me. And those aren't skills that get you respectable work." She looked away. "I'll survive this. I'll survive him. And when I'm old enough, maybe I'll find a way out. But it won't be because of you." I left that house feeling more ashamed than I'd ever felt in my life. She was right. I'd had my chance, and I'd failed her. And now she was paying the price for my cowardice. When Croft returned from back east, I heard he brought a doctor with him. Anna had gotten sick during the winter. Pneumonia, they said. She almost died. The doctor saved her, but she was never quite the same after. Weaker, quieter, more broken. I continued working at the land office, continued recording transactions, filing deeds, witnessing contracts. Every time I pressed that seal onto paper, I thought of Anna. Every time I witnessed a signature, I wondered if I was witnessing another atrocity I was too cowardly to stop. Other clerks noticed I'd changed, became withdrawn, serious, less friendly. My uncle asked if something was wrong. I told him no, told everyone no, because admitting the truth would mean confronting what I'd done, and I wasn't brave enough for that either. Anna lived in that house for 6 more years. I watched from a distance as she grew from a girl into a woman, her spirit crushed under the weight of what Croft made her into. She never complained publicly, never sought help, just endured. When she was 20 years old, Silas Croft died. Heart attack in his sleep. By then I'd left Deadwood, moved to Montana, tried to start over, but I heard about his death through old connection. Heard that, in his will, he'd freed Anna from her contract and left her a small amount of money. Guilt money, I suppose. His way of making peace before meeting his maker. I also heard Anna took that money and disappeared. No one knew where she went. Some said she went east, others said she married. A few said she died shortly after Croft, that the years of abuse had ruined her health. I never found out the truth, never tried to find her. Because, what would I say? I'm sorry I let you be sold. I'm sorry I chose my job over your freedom. Words are nothing compared to what I allowed to happen. I'm 79 years old now. I've lived 62 years past that day in the land office. I married, had children, built a successful career, became respectable. From the outside, I've had a good life, but inside, I've been hollow. The guilt never faded. If anything, it grew stronger with time. As I had my own children, 3 daughters and a son, I couldn't help but think of Anna. My oldest daughter, Sarah, was 12 when she came to me once asking for help with something. 12, the same age Anna was when her father sold her. I looked at Sarah's innocent face, her trust in, and I had to leave the room, had to lock myself in my study and sob because I couldn't reconcile how any parent could do what Henry Muller did, and how any person could stand by and allow it like I did. I was overly protective of my daughters, watched them constantly, made sure they were never alone with men I didn't trust completely. My wife thought I was paranoid. Maybe I was. But every time I looked at them, I saw Anna, blonde hair, pale blue eyes, that resigned expression. I tried to make amends in indirect ways, donated money to orphanages, supported women's shelters, advocated for child protection laws, as if charity could somehow balance the scales, as if helping strangers could erase the one specific child I failed to help. It couldn't. It never could. When I was 50, I finally told my wife the story. We'd been married 25 years and she'd always known something haunted me, but I'd never explained what. One night, after too much whiskey, I told her everything about Anna, about the transaction, about my cowardice. She was quiet for a long time after I finished. Then she said, "You were 17, a boy yourself. What could you have really done?" "Something," I said. "Anything. I could have refused to witness, could have gone to the marshal, could have made noise, caused trouble, done something other than silently participate. You would have lost your job," she said. "Maybe worse. Croft was powerful. So what?" I said. "So what if I lost my job? So what if he made trouble for me? At least I would have tried. At least Anna would have known someone cared enough to try." My wife held me while I cried. But even her understanding couldn't absolve me, because she was right. I was 17, powerless in many ways, but I was also old enough to know right from wrong, old enough to choose courage over cowardice, and I chose wrong. Over the years, I tried to find out what happened to Anna, hired private investigators, searched records, asked old contacts from Dakota Territory, Nothing. She'd vanished completely after Croft's death, left no trace. Maybe she'd changed her name. Maybe she'd died young. Maybe she'd built a new life somewhere far from the frontier and its memories. I hoped it was the latter, hoped she'd found peace, happiness, safety. But deep down, I feared the worst, feared that the damage done to her in those years with Croft had been irreparable, that she'd spent the rest of her life broken, unable to trust, unable to heal, and I helped break her. That's the truth I've had to live with. I wasn't the one who sold her. I wasn't the one who bought her. But I was the one who made it official, who legitimized the transaction, who gave it the stamp of legality and authority. Without me, maybe Croft couldn't have taken her so easy. Maybe someone else would have questioned it, stopped it, done something. But I'll never know, because I didn't give them the chance. My children ask me sometimes about my time on the frontier. They want stories about the Old West, about cowboys and gold rushes and adventure. I tell them sanitized version, leave out the ugly parts, leave out Anna. But my oldest daughter, Sarah, figured some of it out. She found some old documents from my time in Dakota Territory, including a copy of that contract I witnessed. She came to me, asked about it. I couldn't lie to her. I told her everything. She was horrified, disgusted, disappointed in. How could you? She asked. How could you just stand there? I was afraid, and I was wrong. I've spent my whole life knowing I was wrong. That's not enough, she said. Feeling guilty isn't the same as doing right. She was absolutely correct, and I had no defense. Sarah didn't speak to me for 2 years after that. Eventually, we reconciled. She had children of her own by then and wanted them to know their grandfather. But our relationship was never the same. She looked at me differently, saw the coward behind the respectable facade. Good. She should see it. Everyone should see it. I'm dying now. Cancer, the doctor says. Maybe 6 months left. Part of me is relieved. 62 years is too long to carry this guilt. I'm tired, ready for it to end. But I'm also terrified, because if there's an afterlife, if there's judgment, I'll have to face Anna. I'll have to explain why I stood silent while her father sold her, why I pressed that seal onto the paper that gave Croft legal authority over her, why I chose my job over her life. And I'll have no excuse, no justification, just the truth. I was a coward. I valued my comfort over her safety. I watched evil happen and did nothing because doing something would have cost me. That's who I am. That's who I've always been. To anyone watching this, if you see injustice, speak up, even if it costs you, especially if it costs you. Because silence isn't neutral, it's complicity. Inaction isn't innocent, it's guilt. I learned that too late. Anna paid the price for my cowardice, and I've paid the price of living with that knowledge every day since. The Old West was brutal in many ways. The violence, the hardship, the struggle for survival. But the worst brutality was what it did to our humanity, how it made us compromise, rationalize, accept things we should have fought against, how it turned decent people into accomplices to evil because speaking up was inconvenient or dangerous. I was one of those accomplices, and there's no redemption for that, no way to make it right. Anna is gone, dead or disappeared, I'll never know which, and I'm left with nothing but regret and the faint hope that she survived, that she built a life, that she found some measure of peace despite what was done to her. But I don't deserve to know, don't deserve closure. I had my chance to do right and I failed. Now I get to die knowing exactly what kind of man I am. I saw a man sell his own daughter for a piece of land, and I watched it happen, helped it happen, made it legal and binding and official. That's my legacy. Not the career I built or the family I raised or the money I made. Just this. I was there when a child needed help and I chose silence. I chose wrong. And I've been living with that choice ever since. Anna, wherever you are, whatever happened to you, I'm sorry. It's not enough. Nothing I say will ever be enough. But I'm sorry. You deserved better. You deserved someone to fight for you. And I failed you. I'm so goddamn sorry.